right, so let's get to the third game on CBS, second game of the CBS Sports Classic. Kentucky, North Carolina, final score, UK 87, North Carolina 83. The final minute got pretty stupid. North Carolina really screwing up some opportunities, but the other 39 minutes, and even the last one, is a fun basketball game. Like I hate it when people start talking like it felt like a Sweet 16 game, and it felt like but it felt big. It felt like a big game. It felt like two good teams with really good players going back and forth. And Kentucky controlled almost the entire way. Like Kentucky led almost the entire time, but North Carolina was never out of it. North Carolina got down 10, got down double digits, but they were never out of it. Evidence being that they had a chance to tie under 10 seconds left and then turn the ball over. But I know you sat in studio and watched it. What'd you make of Kentucky's nice victory over North Carolina?
I was bummed that the game ended the way that it did. And let me just toss this right back to you real quick, because I saw Brendan Marks tweeted out. And I don't know if you, because of your post-game duties, I don't know if you were in the presser with Huber. Did Huber give anything better of an answer than, because he was asked what happened on the play, and the response that Marks tweeted was, Hubert said he turned it over. Did he give explanation for the miscommunication there, or do we still not really know what happened?
He was just covering for Elliott.
Okay.
Like somebody asked what happened, and he was like, it was a turnover. And then it was like, the question was like, so what was the play? What was supposed to happen?
Yeah, exactly.
And he was like, he actually said the play was not to turn it over. So it looked to me, so he didn't offer any explanation for what happened, but it looked to me, and I'd like to know what you think. It looked to me like Cormac Ryan was going down to maybe set a screen to try to pop RJ Davis up, to pop him free. Okay. And Elliott just passed it like a little lazy, just sort of, it felt like just a little lazy, get the ball out of my hands pass. Right. Mm-hmm. And Cormac Ryan's not even looking. It hit him in the back. And then RJ Davis, who was coming up, that's why I think Cormac Ryan maybe was trying to go set a screen for him. He was coming up anyway. He tried to get it, stepped out of bounds, turnover. And then Aaron Bradshaw had to knock a shot down at a free throw down at the other end to make that lead grow from 3 to 4. And then that was it. Aaron Bradshaw makes the free throw with 4.7 seconds left. The game's over. What was interesting, and I don't know if you saw this in the postgame, because very clearly Kentucky did not foul up 3. Kentucky's up 3. There's 11 point something left, and Kentucky chose not to foul. And so John Calipari was asked about that in the press conference. And he said, because I think Rob Dillingham, before John even came in, said, Coach asked us what we wanted to do. And we said, let's play it and switch everything. And he said, all right, let's play it and switch everything. So it was like, did he really just ask the players, what do you want to do?
You will get that. You get that sometimes, though.
I think it's smart sometimes.
Yeah.
And I think it's irresponsible other times.
Yeah, I can't pinpoint, but I can pick out, broadly in my mind situations, whether on TV or at a presser, where our coach has referenced this. You are way, way more likely to get it when it goes their way for them to admit
That's
it.
Right.
But this went Kentucky's way because they missed it. But it's not a super uncommon thing for a coach to. But the fact that he's got all these freshmen and he did it, that's actually not that common.
Okay, so I remember one. Somebody can look it up, but I think I think this is true. Where John Harbaugh had Lamar Jackson. They just scored a touchdown.
That was last season. That was awesome. Yeah.
Yeah, that was awesome.
That was an awesome
moment. Yeah, he really asked Lamar Jackson. He said, what do you want to do? He said, let's go get it. He said, then go get it. I love that because you are empowering one person, and he's your MVP. I like empowering the face of your franchise, the MVP. I don't necessarily like asking a bunch of freshmen, hey, guys, we're on CBS. What do you want to do? Particularly when you are maybe the face of foul up 3 or don't foul up 3 in the history of college basketball. The most famous foul or don't foul up 3 in the history of the sport. John Calipari was the coach on the wrong end of that. Chalmers for the tie, Dozier for the championship. So I thought it was wild that he really just asked his players, like, what do y'all want to do? And so after Rob Dillingham said that, John came in and somebody asked John, Rob said, you just asked the players, what do you want to do? He said, that's right. He said, I got him in the huddle. This was funny. He said, I got him in the huddle. And I said, all right, guys, we're up 3. There's 11 seconds left. What do you want? He said, do you want to foul when they cross half court? And he said, naturally, they said, nah, let's play it out. We're going to switch everything. Let's just play it out. He said, all right, let's play it out. Sends them out there. Then this is John Calipari talking. He said, then I saw Elliott coming into the game. He said, I grabbed Reed Sheppard and I said, foul him when he gets to half court. And Reed said, yes, sir. And then he didn't do it. And he said, I asked him, why didn't you foul?
Start me in the next game.
That's it.
Starting me. You
why didn't I foul? I don't know. Why don't I start? I'm shooting 70% from three. He said, I asked him why. This is John. He said, I asked Reed, why didn't you foul? And he said, I decided not to. John said, okay. So it was a classic all's well that ends well because Elliott threw the ball off his teammate's back. But it was a funny little, and that's how I lead the column. Just like this guy who is the face of the most famous, they didn't foul up three in the final seconds moment in the history of college basketball, left it in the hands of his players. They didn't do what first he left it in the hands. They decided not to foul. Then he decided, oh no, I should foul. And he told one player to foul. And if you go back and watch it, Reed Sheppard's right in front of him. He just does not foul him, just lets him go. And just decided he didn't want to foul him, and it still worked out okay. So you're right. It's much easier to talk about after a win than after a loss. But I just thought that was a funny little couple-minute anecdote that underlines this team is super talented. I mean, they got lottery picks coming off the bench. Super talented. But they're also really young. And if that goes the wrong way, if RJ Davis catches a screen, pops out, Elliott gets him the ball, he knocks down that three, then we're maybe having a different conversation right now.
Sure.
So it didn't unfold as it was supposed to, but it still unfolded in a favorable way for Kentucky. You take it. And John was, I don't listen to every press conference, but he was very complimentary of his team. He likes this team. You can tell he's the talent. He called them smart multiple times. He said, they're not just talented, they're smart. These are a smart bunch of guys. And seemed to talk. It's just funny listening to him talk. Do you remember, I guess this was a thing in Kentucky in recent days where because they started getting some bigs healthy, most notably Aaron Bradshaw, there was a thought that they're going to slow it down and play differently.
Yes.
And John went into this thing. He was like, I guess somebody thought we were going to start playing differently because we got some bigs healthy. Like we're just going to slow it down and walk it up the court. And I was like sitting in the back. I was like, I think Bruiser said that actually. I think it was Bruiser that suggested that, but whatever. And he was like, no, this is how we play. We're playing fast. We're shooting threes. And then he went into this thing that's just hilarious. He was like, some teams only take 20 threes a game. You know why? Because they don't have shooters. We have shooters, so we're trying to take 30. And he's like, he sort of went in this little thing like the game is changing, and and you have to have as many shooters on the court as possible to play the way you need to play in modern basketball. And it was like he just thought of this. This is what Kentucky fans have been screaming for a few years. And he went into this thing of when we didn't take as many threes, it's because we didn't have as many shooters. But now we got the shooters, so this is the way we're going to play. And I really we're good. But, man, where we could go is the ceiling's really, really high. You could just tell that he likes this team. He believes in this team. And I think I do too. They look the part.
Yeah. In many ways, they do look the part. Nada had the graphic up if you're watching earlier there. Cal is 6-1 against top 10 ranked Carolina teams since he got the Kentucky job. The irony to that is that, and I don't remember the stat now, but I know we referenced it a year ago because when Kentucky got exposed by UCLA in the CBS Sports Classic, Cal had been on a run of, I want to say he had won fewer than 20% of his games against ranked teams in the preceding 4 seasons or 3 seasons or something like that. Carolina is not the bugaboo there. I'll be quick on this because we still got more to get going. And hope everyone's enjoying, by the way, the Saturday night podcast. I'm happy we wound up doing this. For UNC, to big game and big picture. Big picture, 7-3. It's now got back-to-back losses against blue blood programs. This most previous one to this was 11 days ago against UConn. So Tar Heels will take a noticeable dip in the rankings. Who knows? I would think they're still going to be ranked. I don't think that UNC is a top 15-ish team, but they've got good potential. They've got the win over Tennessee that they got at home. They beat an Arkansas team that barely beat Lipscomb earlier in the day. So we'll see on that. There's actually some like stuff to be determined with North Carolina. They're going to turn around and play Wednesday against Oklahoma in the Jumpman Classic. I believe Nada might even be at that game. So they have another opportunity. And a reminder, Oklahoma is still undefeated. So let's just push off the like bigger picture UNC stuff. Let's see what they do against OU in just a few days here. As for the game, though, and in watching this, the fact that they were able to make the push, they had a 10-0 run because they were down. I want to say they were down 12 or 13 in the early parts of the second half, and I wondered if Kentucky was going to really pull away. But like RJ Davis was terrific. It's not good that they needed more from RJ Davis, and already he was going hero again. He had 27 in this game. Baycott.
He's awesome.
Davis is great, and I've long championed Davis's game. And
I'll give you credit. You were in on him way before everybody else.
Like I just if you and it's not like he's never always plays perfectly. Sometimes he takes some ballsy shots and they don't go in. But I find his decision making and his willingness to not be afraid of the big moment tremendously admirable. It's not a good thing for UNC. They still needed more. Like Ingram was just okay. Baycott was just okay. Ryan showed up. Cadeau's just a freshman, and that it ended on that was kind of a bummer. Real quick on Kentucky, then we can get our partners in here and go to the back end of it. Bradshaw hitting two big freebies down the stretch was big. Reeves didn't even they didn't need Reeves or Mitchell to show up huge and play well. Again, Shepard off the bench. Raftery called out just a super heady play when he found Dillingham. Must have been Dillingham on the transition bucket, and it was like he got it and like he had the sense and just threw it. It's why he remains just flat out. Dude, it's just so much fun to watch play basketball, and so much of what they do revolves around him. Like they had good moments from DJ Wagner down the stretch, and they had nice moments from Bradshaw. And Dillingham had a great little dipsy-do fake out reverse layup. They just had enough there. Again, I'm gonna go back. I'm gonna coda what we talked about like 5-6 shows ago. It's just it's refreshing to get this Kentucky team that is just fun to watch. Like when you watch them play, yeah, they're gonna take some losses. They'll have some inconsistencies. They've got some young ones. But you know that when you watch them most nights, they're just going to provide you something that you haven't seen from a Calipari coach group as of late. I think it's a really beneficial step forward. And now they got the Louisville game waiting. That's a near automatic win. Kentucky fans can say we have passed the preseason test. You're not at an A level yet, but you are certainly in that conversation to be a top 10 team. And that was a really fun way to wrap up the CBS triple header. Anytime you get Carolina, Kentucky, like they just have a tendency for the most part to give us entertaining games. This was yet another really good one.
Was it? Help me with my memory here. The year that they played the classic game out in Vegas, didn't they rematch each other in the Elite Eight?
I believe that was the case, and that was Luke May sending Kentucky home. I think that was the same year. I think that's the same year. But I might be mistaken. Someone in the chat's going to know it. They might correct us if that's the case.
Yeah, I remember it that way. And as I was watching this game, that popped in. Like if these two teams met in an Elite Eight again, or even a Final Four, like that wouldn't be the craziest thing to me. I think UK has the higher ceiling because just like the roster, you read through most of it. I didn't think any single player for UK played off the charts today. I thought they all played well or had moments, but nobody was like Malik Monk in that CBS Sports Classic. Like nobody went wild, but they all played okay. They all played, but you just look at it and it's like, my God, they got a lot of guys. I mean, you look up in Justin Edwards, who at one point was projected as the number 1 pick in the draft. And it's like, I don't even notice him.
I know. It's wild.
Yeah. I don't even notice him. DJ Wagner in transition, like the same stuff you used to see on the grassroots circuit. He's brought to college. Reed Shepard, he's really terrific. Like he had the one moment where he just took somebody's ball and then just, launched a three. And even if he missed it, he was smart enough to know he had rebounders coming. They're good, man. They're good. They're now. And just like John said, we're nowhere close to what we could be. And that, I'm sure he has said that at some point in every single year he's ever been at Kentucky. We're nowhere close to where we should be. I bet he said it every year. It feels true this time. I've been listening to that man talk about basketball for 20 years. I can tell when he's struggling, and I can tell when he's pleased. He seems pleased with where he's at and what he's got. You know, you never know when you get into the NCAA tournament what's going to happen, but they've got a team that looks like, if I were projecting out where everybody could be on the first Thursday of the NCAA tournament, I would say this looks like one of the teams that could actually win 6 games and win the whole thing.
Yeah, I think so. I also think it might be time for a word from our partners.